Hi, sweetheart. There's no reason to be embarrassed, but I found your green goblin. Or that's what your mother used to call it. You should be a bit more careful about what you leave in the bathroom. Your younger brother is in there all the time for like hours on end. Please keep these things private. To be frank with you, I didn't believe it when I first saw it. These things are so much bigger than I remember. Anyways, take it easy, champ. You're not training for the Olympics. Let's keep the bathroom a family-friendly space. And don't worry, I won't tell Mom. Love you. Yapper.so.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey, you guys, welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy, and apparently my co-host today, Navasa, needs a haircut.
Darn, it only took 5 seconds.
Welcome, Navasa. I commandeered you from the sports show. I appreciate you joining me.
No. You did not commandeer me from this sports show. I did. I am a breaking case of emergencies.
Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So you could follow me on X, Elizabeth213A, right down there underneath my face. And where can they find you? I know your handle, but, where can they find you?
On Twitter, you can find me at Lord Navasa. On Kick, you'll find me at Navasa. And then on Twitch, you'll find me at Lord Navasa.
Nice. So you only have, you only own property on 2 of those platforms. So you added the Lord.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah.
Turns out social media be stupid.
Oh, tell me about it. That's why I had to add an A on mine. I'm like, who else out there is Elizabeth213? Like, for real? But yeah.
To me, that's a college course.
He didn't have a banner, the alleged producer. No worries, we'll get that. But yeah, so President Trump was really busy today, and we got a couple of highlights from all the work that was done, just a little bit. So let's get to it. Coming to you from USA Today, we got a little video from the man himself, Mr. Works All Day and Night. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. We've never seen before. People go crazy.
Okay, so yeah, the audio kind of goes down just a little bit, but basically, the gist of it, he wants to make it a crime to burn the flag, and a crime with a sentence. You would get a year in prison. It would be on your record. And he said there's no bringing down sentences or anything like that. You would do a year. And he also touted, like, when they were trying to crack down on people destroying monuments and whatnot, he's like, you do that, you get 10 years. And, he's like, people stop doing it. So he's hoping that this would actually put some fire under people's butts, no pun intended, to stop burning the flag. Now, there is a lot of controversy to this, and for good reason, because we do have rights as American citizens. There are rights that are there that, people would probably feel better if it wasn't like, people could just go out and, burn flags and whatnot, but it is part of our rights that we have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. So this is kind of like, another thing that people are debating on even within his own base. So what do you think?
Well, it's kind of a catch-22 because on the one hand, yes, you have the right to express your angers and your grievances to the government. At the same time, you also only have a right for the peaceful assembly.
Mm-hmm.
And does flag burning constitute a breach of peaceful?
Right.
I know that the Supreme Court went ahead and decided this issue, about 1989. I believe, I don't know the court case off the top of my head. I know it involved Texas.
I have it somewhere here. I'll tell you in a minute.
Understood. But the general gist was, it's your property. You have a right to use your property as you see fit. And Justice Scalia made an interesting point in that before he died, he had made a comment saying that he would love to have gone ahead and punished every single person burning a flag, but it's still speech. So I am a little conflicted.
Yeah.
Excuse me, especially because of the double standard that gets presented with regards to stealing an American flag and burning it versus stealing a pride flag and burning it. Like, there's a double standard, especially with regards to hate crimes. But the entire issue of hate crimes can be a separate dissertation.
Yeah, everything is kind of compartmentalized, and that's the whole thing too. Is like, we were talking about this before we came on. Is kind of like, so many of our rights have been trampled on. I don't want to get you all triggered about it, but like, the 2A right I mentioned before is like, it shall not be infringed. Very clear, very concise. Shall not be infringed. However, different states, different laws have been passed over time that started infringing on those constitutional rights that we have collectively as American citizens of this entire country. So, and the same thing with free speech. You have, like, I do understand, like, you can't call the violence, and I understand why, they put that in as kind of like an addendum, but it also does, you can make the argument, it does impede on free speech. At what point does the line stop when you keep chipping away at the totality of the right? Just kind of like for argument's sake. Oh, I think we do have a post here from
Let's see.
Cynical Publius. Yeah. Trump's flag burning EO. It's always worth reading the primary source material before freaking out. Go read the actual EO. I'll link it below. It does not make the mere act of burning a U.S. flag illegal. That is still constitutionally protected speech. What it does make illegal is this: burning a U.S. flag in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action, or that is an action amounting to fighting words. And that is something that President Trump said in, when he was talking about this big sign, that he wants to make sure an incite to riot or incitement is part of the verbiage used. So she goes on to say, so if you want to burn your own flag in your own backyard, have at it. But if you want to burn that flag amidst a violent Death to America rally paid for by George Soros, that's something altogether different. Now, I'm not opting on whether even that narrow interpretation will survive constitutional scrutiny, but know this: the more of these sorts of EOs Trump signs, the mere legal resources the Democrats must expend to challenge him, resources that could probably be better deployed for their purposes on issues essential to the Trump agenda. What I'm trying to tell you is the EO is a giant squirrel for Democrats. Enjoy it. Wow.
Okay.
And then the squirrel. That's actually a pretty interesting take. Right? I mean, we saw that in the beginning of his presidency. Now, I don't think he's doing this just for the squirrel chase, but we saw that in the beginning when he first took office. It was like one thing after the other. It was like bang, bang, bang. It was constant. They couldn't keep up. We couldn't keep up. We were trying to figure out, like, what are we going to cover? We used to cover like 4 to 5 articles for the day, and it was like 10 or 15 things happening every single day. And we're just like, there's just so much. We don't even know what to pluck at. Yeah.
So I would argue that Trump probably is able to run on 4 to 6 hours of sleep at any given time and still be able to knock out business after business after business.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that, with that executive order specifically, assuming cynical plebeius is correct, is that burning the flag itself, yes, it is protected speech if you're doing it on your own. But if you're doing it as a part of the incitement, then yes, that would be 100% grounds to go after somebody for the incitement of the riot or to further a non-peaceful gathering, if you will. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say protest, I don't want to say riot. Just if you're using it, if you're burning the flag as a part of a demonstration to exhibit arson or to exhibit chaos, then yes, I do believe that can be an add-on charge or what's
Right.
called lesser included.
Right. I to be honest, I think it's kind of brilliant because we have to do something. I mean, it's getting out of hand. I was just looking back at just some, and there's been many instances. I didn't find all of them, but just like a year ago, there was the pro-Palestinian, and it's kind of like all circling around this, but the pro-Palestinian protests. There was one that happened a year ago in Philadelphia in front of the city hall, burning our flag and flying the Palestinian flag on Independence Day. Same thing happened in DC to protest Netanyahu addressing Congress. So you want to show up with your signs and with this and with that. You don't want to recognize the flag. That's one thing. But I do understand the idea of like, we have to do something. I just get worried because the more we kind of, again, compartmentalize all of these rights and kind of chip away at them, it's like, I feel like it could be used like, be careful of the weapon you forge kind of thing. Like, hopefully, next we can get JD Vance in, we'll see what happens with the next election. But like, what if it's a Democrat? What if they are taking down on their handy dandy notebook, like all of these different things and trying to figure out how they can twist this and all of these kind of things in their favor and different precedents that are being enacted with these movements. So it can get really, really hairy,
Well, this is where when cynical PBS went ahead and pointed out Squirrel, a few lines above it, he had made comment that this would be another source of expenditure that the Democrats would have to fight for. And to me, when I saw that, I completely read that as what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Because they forced Trump to spend how many millions of dollars in legal fees, how many hours in court, how many lawyers, etc. But now that USAID has been cut, that's a loss of a revenue source right then and there. And then factor in all the people that are leaving the Democrat Party, the coffers are going to be emptying faster and faster. And they don't have the leg to stand on. Even if they file it in DC, even if they file it in California, which there's some news about that.
Yeah.
Or Boston, wherever their stronghold courts are, even if they file all that, it's still just going to get appealed straight to the Supreme Court. And then from there, it's going to get struck down, meaning a whole bunch more money wasted. And I believe that the way that this is phrased and the way that this is constructed, I believe it accomplishes three things. It accomplishes three goals. Number one, it gets people pissed off at the right people, that being the Democrats. Number two, it forces the expenditure of resources. And number three, and as much as I hate it, it changes the media cycle.
It changes the media cycle?
Yeah, so it's a news cycle that that whenever new information or news comes in, that's all that you're talking about for that day, that week.
Distraction.
So, exactly, because we all know that we all know about the Epstein list, and we still want answers on that. But any which way to distract from it, you can't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't even the news that talks about stuff all day long. I mean, we all have jobs and different things that we do throughout the day before we do these podcasts. And, like they talk about this all they still can't get in everything that needs to be talked about. And to be perfectly frank, there's a lot of things they don't even want to address. But To answer your question earlier, so there was a key case. It was Texas versus Johnson. It was in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, Gregory Lee Johnson burned a U.S. flag during a political protest at the Republican National Convention in Dallas. He was convicted under a Texas law that prohibited flag desecration. The Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, so it's pretty tight actually, struck down his conviction, holding that flag burning is expressive conduct protected by the First Amendment. Justice William Brennan wrote that the government cannot prohibit expression simply because society finds it offensive or disagreeable. But then how do we have things like hate crimes? Or hate speech? Let's just say hate speech, not hate crimes.
Let's
just make it a little more simple.
How dare you apply to this?
But this is what I mean. It's like the double standard. It's like, and this is, I think you actually said those words exactly when we were talking earlier. It's like, oh, okay, you can't have it both ways then. You can't argue, a foundational argument for one thing and then say it doesn't apply in the other way. You can't have it like, you can't make that argument for the reasons why this should be a thing. And then in the same breath, in another thing, say, oh, for this, that argument doesn't apply though. This is something totally different because it hurts people's feelings. Oh, like this is offensive and disagreeable speech.
Do not be mistaken. The entire concept of hate speech and hate crimes ought to be ruled unconstitutional by virtue of the facial text of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then, go ahead.
No, you have it. You got the floor.
Oh, no. I was actually, I was just going to say also the court reaffirmed this position in United States versus Eichmann in 1990 when it struck down the Federal Flag Protection Act of 1989 for the same reason. So this is something that's kind of been brought up a lot. I mean, not a lot. I mean, a couple times, but it seems to be something that's kind of like an argument that keeps coming to the Supreme Court as well. So like you said, it most likely will end up here, I would think. Again, when it's an executive order, it's something that can be overturned by the next administration. So until it's like put into law, it's not something that would last past the presidency unless another Republican got in, and it was J.D. Vance and he decided to keep it, going. Well,
as far as the next administration goes, we know it's, at least from the Republican side, it's either going to be Rubio or Vance.
Mm-hmm. So, or both of them together. Yeah.
That would be a tag team.
Yeah. Oh, no. Now I got that song stuck in my head.
No. Speaking of a tag team between the courts and ICE, Maryland Man.
Oh, man. Yes. All right. So we got, this guy's name. I don't even want to say it anymore. All right. So ABC News, Kilmer Abreu Garcia is held in Virginia as battle continues over his potential deportation. KAG, who was wrongly deported in March before being brought back to the U.S. to face new criminal charges, was taken into immigration custody after checking in with Immigration and Customs Enforcement at its office in Baltimore on Monday morning and is currently being held at a detention center in Virginia, where he's again facing deportation. By the way, every time this guy gets shifted back and forth, we're paying for it. It's just like so obnoxious. U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas, who has been overseeing his deportation case, said at a habeas hearing Monday afternoon that the federal government is, quote, absolutely forbidden from deporting him for the time being, saying your clients are absolutely forbidden at this juncture to remove Mr. Abreu Garcia from the continental United States, Judge Zenas told government attorneys. The federal government is currently blocked from deporting him through Wednesday, and Judge Zenas said she is also considering extending a temporary restraining order blocking Abreu Garcia from being deported to Uganda, where the government has indicated he may be sent despite his designated country of choice being Costa Rica. Now, the thing with Costa Rica, he's that he would love to go there. However, there's a contingency on him going there. He would have to plead guilty to crimes of human trafficking. So, his attorneys are arguing that they're basically trying to entrap him into you either are going to get, go to the place you want, but you have to admit that you're a criminal, which he is anyway. Although all these other charges that are happening, you did a criminal thing by coming in here illegally. But he can go to Uganda and he doesn't have to say a thing, so now we're having in this thing where he's bouncing back and forth, and it's crazy because so many people are being deported. Like I think it's like 150,000 at the moment or something, and that's like the people that have been deported. There's been like, I don't know, thousands that have self-deported, but they're fixated on this one guy. And he's a criminal in so many different other ways. I mean, they're saying that he has ties to MS-13 gang members from his tattoos and different intel that they've gathered, domestic violence claims from his wife or girlfriend or significant other, police cam video from 2022 released showing proof, they say, that he was involved in trafficking undocumented immigrants. So you have like all of these things. It's kind of like he's the George Floyd of the immigration pushback. He's their poster boy, and they're gonna look free Kilmar. They got the whole thing. It's just absolutely exhausting. I mean, if anything, if I was the other illegals that are getting deported, I'd be like, hey, what about me? Like, you guys don't care about me. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think that Paula Zenas is one of the prime examples of a judge that ought to be removed from the bench for bad behavior. Because bad behavior does not require impeachment per Article 3.
Ooh.
Per Article 3, it is a simple majority in Congress.
Isn't that interesting?
Thank you, Andrew Bronca.
Yeah.
But no,
so I don't know. I feel they're going to drag this out as much as they possibly can.
They have
There's
to.
judges spread out all over the place. They're going to keep shipping him here, there, everywhere, and so they can have some kind of leftist radical judge presiding over it and saving him from deportation. Yeah. Wrongly, exactly. ABC. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, like I was saying, is as far as the actual case itself, you got to break it up into between the deportation cases and the human trafficking cases. Got to break that up first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia is in Virginia now is because he's under arrest for being an illegal immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Versus he was released in Tennessee by the judge out there in Nashville because the court believed that it would be better for him to be walking rather than have to deal with the DOJ.
The DOG, double OG. Yeah, no. But that's what I'm saying. They're just kind of like ping-ponging this guy around as much as they possibly can to keep him here because why? They have dubbed this guy the symbol of this entire pushback from the left.
The big thing that the big quote error that every leftist will tell you about what happened with the immigration side of Kilmar, there was something called a final continuance for his immigration hearing. Mm-hmm. And that final continuance was contingent on a CBP interview, whether he could stay in the U.S. or not. We knew they knew as Kilmar that he was going to get rejected based off of 2 immigration court cases that he had back in 2017 and 2018. That final continuance is only good for 1 year. Now, even if you want to argue that, he can't be sent back to El Salvador because, he's a citizen there, but it's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, because he'll be put right in their jails.
Well, he's a citizen of El Salvador. That's why he could have been sent there in the first place. And even then, President Bukele would have he initially did tell the United States, pound sand. Mm-hmm. How they brought Kilmar back, don't know. I don't play the diplomacy game. But the federal courts banned Trump from sending him to El Salvador. So they found a third country. I think first it was Sudan, then it was Rwanda, and now it's Uganda.
Right.
At the end of the day, he has no legal right to be here. He is no Maryland man. First and foremost, he was born in El Salvador. And I love going ahead and taking any jab I can at Hassan Piker, the biggest leftist Twitch streamer you can find.
Mm-hmm.
Any jab you can take at him, do it, especially because now, for the longest time, during the entire Kilmar Abrego Garcia media cycle, as it is, when that was a thing, he didn't even know that Kilmar was born in El Salvador. Because of the term Maryland man, they thought he was born in Maryland.
Well, that's what they do. They're going to continue to shout something so that way people that don't really like look into it, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, he's an American citizen. How dare we? Like, what are they doing? They're trying to deport American citizens now, and that whole narrative." But that's what they've always done. That's their playbook, and they're sticking to it because it's one of the few that's actually still working.
You can see the bookcase behind me. I know I have one of the books called The Rules for Radicals.
Yeah.
It's written there.
Yeah, so we'll just see. I'm sure we're going to see him in the news again. I'm sure we're going to see him bounce somewhere else, and we'll if it's something substantial, we'll bring it to you. But what do we got going on next? Let's go across the pond for a second, shall we?
Well, speaking of bouncing around all over the place, we're going to bounce across the pond. And from CNN, UK says it will reform asylum appeal process to clear the backlog as anti-migrant protests outside hotels continue.
UK's waking up.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
They're
dealing with some terrible, terrible things over there. I mean, it's stuff that we could definitely see here if we allow things to continue the way it's going with the, certain individuals coming over here with their radical rules. But yeah, they're already deep in it, and the people have had enough. They will get put in jail for saying certain things, for putting things on social media, so it's very hard for them to kind of stand out against all of this, but they're all coming together, and it kind of, that's what makes it difficult. Like when you have everyone, I mean, even people in Starmer's own base and his labor base are against the radicalization of asylum seeking programs. So that's not good for him. You over here, it's more kind of divided, not even though, because as we saw, I mean, Trump won the popular vote, but over there, it's
a different flavor.
It looks like it's blending. Yeah.
So it's here in the States, the way that we handle the immigration problems is more localized and more at the state level with federal intervention versus out here in Britain, they're taking it at the individual level because they're now fed up.
Right.
And to a lesser extent, this is going on in in France as well, to a lesser extent. But out here in Britain, this is where the hotbed is becoming most prominent, especially as a spillover from Northern Ireland is now hitting England. Because same tactics, same arguments, same results. But from Reuters, London, anti-migrant protests persisted across Britain on Sunday outside hotels housing asylum seekers, a day after police were forced to separate demonstrators and counter-protesters in multiple cities as tensions flared over immigration policies. With immigration polling as the public's top concern, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour government has been under pressure to deliver on its pledge to end hotel use, which is costing billions of dollars a year. Britain has seen regular protests in recent weeks outside hotels housing asylum seekers, spurred in part by concerns about public safety after a migrant who was accommodated in a hotel east of London was charged with assault.
Mm-hmm.
Demonstrations took place on Sunday across the country, including in Epping, east of London, Bristol, and Birmingham. A court ruling on Tuesday ordered the removal of asylum seekers from a hotel in Epping, which has become a flashpoint for anti-immigration protests. The government plans to appeal. Protesters gathered there again on Sunday.
Imagine, I'm sorry to cut you up, but imagine appealing the people that you're supposed to serve. The people are outraged, but the government is like, we're gonna go against you. We're gonna appeal your arguments. It's crazy.
It's easy. The government isn't serving the people you think it's serving.
Mm-hmm.
No,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
no.
it used to be just a speculation. Now it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely what's going on. They're just doing it right in everyone's faces now.
Mm-hmm. Protesters gathered there again on Sunday, waving British flags and holding placards that read, "Epping says no" and "Stop the boats." On Saturday, anti-immigration protesters gathered in small-scale rallies in towns and cities across England, Scotland, and Wales. Official figures on Thursday showed asylum claims were at a record high, with more migrants being housed in hotels compared with a year ago.
So they're doubling down.
Oh, they have to import the voter base somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Hardy in the comments just said, saw a video of a guy getting arrested for saying he likes bacon.
Yes, that is true.
Really?
Yes, because it was used, or it was phrased in such a way that it was deemed insulting and
derogatory or whatever.
I guess derogatory against Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And in the UK, much like how we have, quote, hate speech that we want to get past, England has those, or Britain has those. So it's like if you make somebody feel uncomfortable, or if you make someone think that they're uncomfortable doing something, you're getting arrested. It's like that meme.
In the eye of the beholder, or like the ear of the listener. It's like you could just say that about anything.
Well, it's like that meme. Oh, you didn't go to dentist? Straight to jail.
Yeah. Well, Doug said I insulted someone once. I always think of what is that movie with Michael Keaton? Johnny Dangerously. You ever see that movie where he's like, I insulted my mother once. Yeah.
That's a good movie if you haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. I haven't seen it in a minute, actually. Jennifer said that's so BS because who doesn't love bacon? Right? Like, come on. I mean,
I love bacon so much, I get my triple deckers triple decked with bacon.
Yeah. No, I mean, so, the thing is, I mean, we talked about this before, like, yes, like the world has become a melting pot in a lot of areas, specifically in America and a lot of these Western countries. I wonder how that happened. But there comes a point where you say, like, a lot of people are saying this, and are the way that you live, is it compatible with the areas that you're shuffling to? Like, you think about, like, in certain areas they're doing like the call to prayer, and that starts at what, like 5 a.m. where it's like, shouted out over loudspeakers. You have things about like, diets and what people eat. And then you have like the more serious concerns about, I don't know. I think Elon just posted something earlier. It was, I'm going to try and kind of like dance around the story because it's really horrific, but a young girl was assaulted by a man, and instead of prosecuting the man who assaulted her, they decided that they're going to allow her brother to assault the sister of the one who assaulted the lady in the first place.
I think you meant to say arrest the 14-year-old for defending the 12-year-old. I know that story.
Yeah, so they're basically like that is their form of justice. Or like if you in some areas, if you do get assaulted, you as the one who got assaulted, as the victim, you might be charged with, inciting, seducing the male to come and attack you. I mean, there's a lot of things that are in place in these areas where they're coming from. That are they denouncing those terrible things when they move? No, because they're not assimilating. They're going from growing up in this life right over to the next area, and they want to force these things and these laws and Sharia law and different things like that. They want to force it on everyone because the way that they feel is that they're right in the way that they do things. And if you're not doing that, I actually just got a twitch thinking about it because I'm dealing with,
Oh, trust me.
possible Mamdami coming into New York.
Trust
But
me.
yeah.
I completely understand, number one, your fears, and number two, your frustrations. However, I do want to address Jen real quick, saying that not only should people have their own pigs because bacon is delicious, but in Italy, there is a rising trend of having pet pigs and walking your pet pigs because it pisses off Muslims.
I actually seen a video of somebody she had a huge pit bull and she was like walking it around. It's something about like dogs, and I don't know how true that is, so don't quote me on it, but she was like walking around and you kind of saw a lot of them like moving across the street and stuff. They didn't want to walk near the dog, but this dog was humongous too, so I probably would cross the street myself because you don't know.
In all seriousness though, number one, this is a fundamental issue at what defines justice. And with Britain, I have made the joke for the last 2 or 3 years now that there should be a British caliphate any day now.
Mm-hmm.
But in the grand scheme of things, this is what happens when you try to mix oil and vinegar with regards to culture, excuse me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we're coming to the realization that there is a such thing as an inferior culture, that not all cultures are equal and not all cultures deserve to be preserved. We're coming to find out. And with England in particular, they're realizing that the Muslims do not want to assimilate because they don't fear their host country. In the United States, we don't necessarily have that level of Muslim invasion going on or that Muslim presence going on because of our beautiful Second Amendment.
We're not as ripe for the picking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But bearing that in mind, we still have enclaves and pockets in the States, primarily Dearborn, Michigan, as the prime example. And then the entire state of Minnesota.
And a lot of them are going into politics now.
You muted yourself.
Oh, I did? You can't hear me?
Or the source changed.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me out
there?
But
anyways, with that in mind, there's going to come a point in time when something or someone of importance is going to cause an event to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what that event is because no inspirations. But when you have parts of Sweden, as an example, that are deemed no-go zones, and I'm sure Britain has those too, eventually the people that were the majority that are now becoming the minority, they get fed up. And history has shown us you don't need everybody to make a difference. Sometimes it's only as much as 10%.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of these cultures, like, Christians, like, have lived alongside a lot of different religions for quite some time. So, and, it's always been like, you can live alongside. Okay. Maybe just like come out and come back in just in case. Because it seems like everybody can hear me. Brian, if you want to kind of tell.
I can hear Biddy on the YouTube.
Okay. But yeah, so I there's just some cultures that I just think cannot coexist, especially if you're very rigid in your beliefs. And
I can hear you on my personal view from YouTube. So
okay, good. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, so hopefully, the UK continues to push back against this. I don't know how much power they're going to have, influence against all of this. It seems like, as you read in the article, that they're doubling down on their efforts to continue to bring in these asylum seekers. Asylum from what? If they're bringing the same stuff that they're supposedly running away from. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how that goes. How about we head over to Chicago? All right. Coming to you from Chicago's WGN9, a Trump executive order could bring National Guard to troops to Chicago. President Donald Trump has signed off on an executive order for additional National Guard units, which means troops could be headed to Chicago. President Trump has called Chicago a mess, that's putting it lightly, referring to crime statistics in the city. The executive order means troops will be trained and resourced for rapid response nationwide. Quote, Chicago is a disaster, and the governor of Illinois should say, President, would you do us the honor of cleaning up our city? We need help. Yeah, right, like that's going to happen. They need help. They need help. We may wait. We may or may not. We may just go in and do it, which is probably what we should do. The problem is, it's not nice when you go in and do it, and when someone else is standing there saying, as we give great results, saying we don't want the military. They need help badly. Chicago needs help. Just look at the crime statistics. Look at the statistics that JD said. Even if I don't know that it was bad, it's terrible. And it's true. And even going off of Trump deploying the National Guard to DC to clean that up, because it was, it was the easiest one to do because it's also already federalized. There's been videos being made by people from all over the country, specifically from Chicago. A lot of people saying, like, we want Trump to come here and clean this up. There's a lot of like law-abiding citizens that are trying to just live their lives, go to work and, raise their family and not have to worry about one of their young children being shot in a stray bullet, on the streets, because they're just like weekends of murderous events happening. It's just like 10, 20, 30 people dying over the weekend. I think that happened. I forgot when that was. It was just some holiday weekend. Maybe it was like Memorial Day weekend or something like that. It's just constant. So they do need the help. Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson, they're definitely not going to ask for it. So the question becomes, what avenues does Trump have to actually override the governor's authority and send the National Guard in? What do you think, Navasa? Navasa? Okay, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Okay, so let's just say that federalization of the National Guard.
Okay. So
yeah, go ahead.
As far as Trump and his authority, I believe that he still has the obligation and the responsibility to go ahead and actually defend.
I think, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear Brian. Yes.
Okay. I don't know why you can't hear Biddy. I'll just weigh in here. I think Trump is treading very carefully on constitutional and established federal law and precedent here.
Oh, right.
So it's one thing with Washington, D.C., it's a federal district. It's another thing with the city inside, the jurisdiction of a sovereign state with its own government and everything else. I know there's legal mechanisms in place where, the president can declare a state of emergency or insurrection in a certain locality and take control of the militia to suppress the insurrection. I think that's kind of the legal area they're operating in. Mm. That's the area of where I think, I don't know, but I think that's the legal area they're operating in. So we'll see. Of course, we're going to see legal challenges. Because that's how everyone who doesn't like something Trump is doing, that's what they do. They find a judge that they know will vote their way, and they take it to court. That being said, I will step off, and with yeah, I don't know how we're going to make this work with Navessa not being able to hear Biddy in real time.
That's why I was doing the 3, 2.
Yeah.
The countdown. Maybe
So,
just try to like
it
jump
sucks that
out
I
and
can't
jump
hear
back
Biddy,
in.
but we'll make it work. So whenever
Kinda
you're about
like
done
reset.
with your segment, Miss Biddy, we'll go ahead and do a 3, 2, 1, and then go from there. But as far as what Brian said earlier, it's also worth mentioning that Mayor Brandon Johnson is one of the lowest rated mayors in the entire U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also considered one of the most incompetent, especially for his city. Like, it's already bad enough that we're already staring down the barrel of Madman Mandani being possibly elected.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got in Minneapolis, the mayor over there, they just rescinded his nomination. So that's a jungle mess in of itself. And then from there, taking over Chicago, I think is a step too far, like federalizing it with DC. But it is worth noting that Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution still requires the federal government to protect the United States from foreign invasion. And if you're going to have a sanctuary city, then that by definition goes ahead and creates an invasion center or an invasion hub, especially when you've got San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, New York, DC, that all declare themselves sanctuary cities, and look at the crime that comes with it. When it goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier about the mixing of cultures and how certain cultures just don't want to integrate. Back to you, Biddy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well said. So, as you guys were saying, there's a lot of different ways, right? So there's the federalization of the National Guard. That's one way. Normally, each state's governor controls their state National Guard when it's not federalized. Then there's under Title 10 rather of the U.S. Code, the president can take command of a state's National Guard. Once federalized, the Guard answers to the president as the commander-in-chief, not to the governor. This has been done before during the civil rights movement when Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, they federalized Guard units in southern states to enforce desegregation orders. There's another way, which is the Insurrection Act. The president can invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807 in cases of rebellion, unlawful obstruction, or when a state is unable or unwilling to enforce federal law or protect constitutional rights. And I think that kind of speaks to what you were saying, is kind of like the president has a duty to protect the citizens of this country, and you can't have one contradicting the other. Like, even though you have state sovereignty, you can't just allow citizens of this country as a whole to just kind of be victimized constantly and, have to deal with all of this crazy crime happening all over the place. So it's another slippery slope. Like, we have to, wonder if, maybe if he steps too far one way, is it going to give them credence to do the same, and if they get into power again, kind of thing. But I also think what it is doing, even if he's not able to enact this and actually make it happen, or if he doesn't go all the way and he gets pushed back from the judges and he kind of moves on to something else in the meantime, it is the people of Chicago and these other areas in New York and stuff like that are hearing that he wants to do something like this and having to look over their shoulder when they're trying to go to work. They're going to hear this and they're going to say, yeah, we do need this. They already are. And they're going to be, demanding it from their local leaders. So either way, it's a good thing. But yeah, so we have a quick segment to get to right before we get to caption this. Yeah. All right. So you want to read this for us, Navasa?
So Chicago may not be on fire, but Burning Man sure was. From Las Vegas, Mother Nature has not been a friend to this year's Burning Man festival goers so far. From this weekend's ferocious dust storms to high heat and humidity to the possibility of rain and flooding in the coming days, it has been an eventful start to the annual event in Nevada's Black Rock Desert. Strong dust storms and 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts ripped through the Black Rock City on Saturday, wreaking havoc on campsites and causing major travel delays in the area. The National Weather Service issued a dust storm advisory Saturday evening, saying that, quote, a wall of blowing dust, unquote, was tracking northward. 4 minor injuries were reported as a result of the wind and dust, a Burning Man spokesman confirmed to NBC News. So basically, Mother Nature said, I'm recreating the Dust Bowl times, baby. I ain't letting you Burning Man. And you can see here if we're going to play the video or not. But yeah, you can see here that dust storms are no joke.
No, yeah, that's
especially
crazy.
being in the desert where you don't have a lot of cover to work with to begin with. That you see the dust kick up, all the tarps going off. Oh dear God, I pray no one's in there.
No,
I pray no one's in there.
that's terrible. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's kind of like God was like, no,
so
it's
bad.
enough burning going
That
on.
is so bad.
Oh my
And
gosh.
everyone was thinking the same Family Guy joke with the porta potties.
Yep.
Go ahead, Biddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't really have much to say about it. I don't even really, I'm not really like up on like the whole Burning Man festival. It's like I really don't know like a ton about it. But I guess it's kind of like a bummer for the people that go, and I imagine they travel from, all over the place to, make this event, and they have it on their calendars and they take off of work or whatever. Mm-hmm.
So all I can say is that is a very, very the
little sneak peek.
I never saw the caption this image before right now. I never saw it, so I got no sneak preview. I was going to go ahead and say it was a very, very crappy situation to be stuck in, but
yeah, it's a perfect segue actually to our caption.
The porta potties. Okay, we got to capture those porta potties somehow in some way.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm ready for a palate cleanser. I don't know about you. I usually am at this point of the show. So how about we kick off caption this?
Oh God, no!
So we have some Burning Man goers.
Hardy,
who have some dust boots on. So if you haven't seen this before, this is the part of the show where it's called Caption This. It's a game that we do at the end of every Sunset Rants, and we have an AI generated photo for you here. And we ask you, the audience, please participate. Give us some funny captions, and then Navasa and I will choose the funniest ones at the end. Yeah. I think, like Brian commented earlier, like not one of them has a pair of Birkenstocks on, which is pretty crazy. And this is why you can't ask Grok to do everything. They don't always get it right.
Sorry. Hardy got me good.
Oh, my phone died. I can't even look at YouTube anymore. I could pull it up here.
True.
A haboob. Eating friends hanging out and doing mushrooms.
Oh. Why you let your phone die?
I was looking at it. I was like, are you going to make it? Are you going to make it? And it was like 5% when I started.
Rebel on Rumble with Far Out Dust Storm, man.
Yeah, I like that one. Later, Taylor. Thank you. They all showed up for some weird multicolored jacket that Joseph made. 2 out of 10 would recommend. The Survivor the Dust Storm 2025. Oh man,
Senor Ricky Retardo.
Yeah.
Across a cold take, Los Angeles.
Oh my gosh. What is it? So the Burning Man, what do they do? Like, do they have like music? Is it kind of like Woodstock a little bit? Let's see. I wonder what's like going on if like the website and whatnot. Do they have a website? Are they that legit? Oh, they're on StubHub. Are they still selling tickets? $600?
Burning Man itself is it's just an experience.
Yeah.
That's the only way it can be done. It can only be described as that. It's an experience.
Oh, like, so you pay $600 for a 9-day
Burning Man
pass.
epitaph that you burn at the end of the festival, but from the lead up to the effigy, it's all music, drugs, rock and roll, everything in between.
Woodstock. With I guess, not the best music. I don't know what they have these days. Like they're not showing any like classic bands or anything like that.
Jen's got it. Jen wins.
Where is Jen? Pete try out for new Survivor Burning Man. That's yours? The almost famous casting rejects. Oh my gosh, I remember that movie. Mine. Let's see. All right, so you're going with Jen's. Okay, I'm choosing. I think it was Rebel with No Yell.
If I'm gonna make a caption for this, I would say it's the NPC cast of Fallout the prequels. Yeah.
All right, I'm going with Far Out Dust Storm. I like that one. That one made me laugh. So if you guys, we have Far Out Dust Storm. We're gonna need a vote. So vote 1 in the chat if you're going with Far Out Dust Storm, and vote 2 in the chat if you're going to try out for a new Survivor Burning Man 2025. And let's see. I'll put my little 1 in there. Attention, Goodwill shoppers. Uno. I did a chuckle. All right, so we got 3 for 1 and 2 for 2. We got 4 for 1.
Yeah, I'm seeing it between Rumble, YouTube, and Twitter. Yeah, number 1.
All right, number 1.
Far Out Dust Storm, man.
I like that. I think that's hysterical. That looks super cute on a t-shirt too. All right, so congratulations, Rebel with No Yell. You have won Caption This. Good job. All right, and don't forget, don't forget to go to our website, riseofmiddleamerica.com, which you can get there with this nifty little Q&R code at the top of the screen here. You can get all of our socials there. You can join our Discord. And we just did our first call-in show for FAFO Friday. That was really great. This past Friday, you have to be part of the Discord in order to be able to call in when we do shows like that. we'll do more in the future. So definitely join the Discord for that reason. If you want to vote on the championship caption list, you're going to need to join Discord as well. More details to that coming. And you should just join it anyway, because we're there chilling. So definitely join that. And you could find the show on X at @RealRoma_AK. You can find me at Elizabeth213A, Navasa at Lord Navasa. And yeah, I thank you guys as always for hanging out with us on Monday, sharing your Monday evening with us. We love bringing you the news. We love chatting with you in the chats. You have anything else to say, Navasa? I guess he's good. We're just gonna end. He can barely hear me. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful Monday night.
Quick last words, Navasa.
Yeah.
Don't go to Burning Man. It's not worth burning $600.
Right. All right, you guys have a great evening. Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.